Joining me now from Glenmore Beach, KwaZulu-Natal, is Thembiso Fakude, who is the senior researcher at Africa-Asia Dialogue. Thank you for joining us here on BBC News. Well, we just heard from President Ramaphosa talking about this 110-year history. I mean, that doesn't automatically give the party the right to lead, because there are rumours that South Africa is or has had enough of the ANC. How much of a threat is there?
Well, it's a big threat, particularly because the ANC is accused of not delivering the services that are desperately needed by the people. But importantly, the ANC has been accused of corruption, which is what President Ramaphosa has been trying to fight since he began his tenure. And the reason why you had that heckling in the meeting or the conference of the ANC is precisely because there's a group of ANC members who do not want to see Cyril Ramaphosa continuing with his fighting of corruption and reforming of the ANC.
Why has this fight against corruption proved so difficult for Mr. Ramaphosa? Has he just not been allowed to tackle it by those around him?
Well, it's because many of those that are accused of corruption or that were mentioned in a commission, in a report that was commissioned, known as the Zondo Commission in South Africa, involve members of the ANC, and many of whom are still active members of the ANC, and those are the people who are trying to push back Cyril Ramaphosa's efforts in trying to clean up corruption within the ANC. And they somehow came up with an accusation, which is still, by the way, to be proved in the court of law, of Cyril Ramaphosa having foreign currency in his farm, which was stolen by some people and later on reported to the police by one of the political competitors of Cyril Ramaphosa.
Do you think, if he does go on to be re-elected as leader of the party, that he will actually want the job?
I think he is now much more emboldened, and he understands how important it is that the task that he assumed when he began his tenure as the president of this country. So I think he will be much more enthusiastic and emboldened in fighting corruption in the next coming 5 years, because there has been amplified voices from South Africa calling him to not to resign and calling him to continue with this fight against corruption.
But that's just a sort of a survival of the party, really, isn't it? And when we talk about the party, there are divisions within it. How would he go about uniting it, and to what extent is it beneficial to the health minister?
Well, the calls, by the way, and were not from within the party. They were from outside the party, by and large. South Africans who are not members of the ANC, that's one. Number two is, I'm not quite sure that he's going to be interested in unifying the party, because I think the horse has bolted in that regard. There's not going to be any possibility of unifying the party. But he's going to take a faction of the ANC that supports him and hope to continue from there, and hopefully those will support him and eventually sideline those that are actually accused of corruption and continue to hinder the processes or the attempts by Cyril Ramaphosa of continuing to reform the party and fight corruption.
Okay. Thembiso Fakude, thank you very much indeed, joining us from Glenmore Beach in KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you.